I had one of the kids actually call me and like asking me, and I went, this is not me. I didn't make up these rules. And I very specifically pointed out that their dad, Kody, is not somebody to be run by one of his wives. Why in the world would anybody think that I'm somehow behind this? Like, why me? They don't know who I am. If they would think this of me, that I would try to cause some sort of disharmony in the family.
The accusations just hit national television, and they are absolutely brutal. Kody Brown stood in front of cameras and accused his daughter Mykelti of being disloyal, spreading trash talk, and breaking down family trust. Meanwhile, Robyn sat there saying absolutely nothing. Not a single word to defend her, not one attempt to correct him or make it easier. Just calculated silence while Kody threw his own daughter under the bus. The only daughter who actually tried to keep this family together. Let's be really clear about what just happened here. This isn't about a normal disagreement between a parent and their child. This is about a father publicly shaming his daughter because she had feelings about her brother's death. This is about a stepmother who spent years using that same daughter to make herself look good, then dropped her the moment she stopped playing that role. The episode showed us something way more disturbing than just family drama. It showed us a loyalty test that's been dressed up as love. Kody actually said his relationships with his adult children are struggling because of trash talk and rumors that have challenged loyalties and trust. Think about that for a second. Loyalties. Not love, not connection, not healing. Loyalties. Like family works like some old kingdom where you have to pledge loyalty to the king or you get kicked out. And Robyn's silence? That says more than any tears she's cried. She had so much to say when she was sobbing about selling Coyote Pass, that empty piece of land that's been sitting there for 5 years with nothing built on it. She cried over dirt. But when Kody attacks Mykelti and accuses her of betrayal just because she's expressing pain after losing her brother Garrison, Robyn says nothing. No defense, no kindness, no humanity. Here's what makes this really cruel. Mykelti was the bridge. She stood up for Robyn to her siblings for years. She said nice things about Robyn's parenting in public. She brought Robyn into special family moments like when her babies were born. She stood in the middle of every fight, desperately trying to keep together a family that was already breaking apart. And what did she get for all that? She got accused of being disloyal on camera while her stepmother sat there and watched without saying a word. This episode also showed Robyn's habit of separating herself from Kody's other children with her words. She keeps calling them your kids instead of our kids. After 10 years of being legally married, she still treats these children like outsiders. They're his responsibility, his problem, his family, not hers, never hers. What we saw wasn't just family drama. It was the moment Mykelti learned what so many of Kody's other children already knew. Love in the Brown family has conditions attached to it, and the main condition is simple. Protect our image, stay obedient, or get thrown out. Sometimes the biggest truths are hidden in the smallest words. All through this episode, Robyn kept using 2 little words that show exactly how she sees Kody's other children. Not our kids. Not the kids. Your kids. Like, these children belong to you, Kody. Not me. Like, after 10 years of legal marriage, I still see them as separate. Like, I've never actually accepted them as my own. Listen to how it happened. When they were talking about space in a possible new house, Robyn said she wanted room for our kids to feel safe, then right away switched to talking about space for your kids to be able to be honest with you. That wasn't an accident. It was automatic, natural for her, like drawing a line down the middle of a family photo. Later, when they were discussing truly maybe visiting, the separation showed up again. Our kids could come home and feel safe. Your kids needed their own space. Every single time the conversation turned to Kody's children from his other marriages, Robyn's words changed too. The way she kept her distance with language was consistent, on purpose, and really damning. Here's why this matters so much. Robyn has been Kody's legal wife for 10 years. She's the only one with that legal protection. She's the one who got the official marriage when Kody divorced Mary. She has every legal and social right to call these children part of her family, but she doesn't. Not in her words, not in her heart, not in any real way. This isn't something new either. This is a woman who held grudges against children for acting like children. Hunter didn't right away accept that Solomon was born, so he became a problem child in her story. Gabe and Garrison questioned COVID rules, so they became disloyal alcoholics in her version of things. Mykelti defended her for years, so she was useful. Until she wasn't. Until Garrison's death changed everything, and Mykelti started showing her hurt and frustration. The language shows the pecking order. There are Robyn's biological children who get called our kids and get endless grace and protection. Then there are your kids, Kody's other children who exist outside the special circle. They're tolerated when they're obedient, thrown away when they develop their own opinions, and never truly accepted as family. Every woman who's ever been in a blended family knows this situation. Some step-parents fight to include everyone under one roof. They work to build connections. They choose words that bring people together instead of pushing them apart. They say our family even when it's hard, even when relationships are rocky, because that's what real commitment looks like. Robyn does the opposite. She uses language that keeps others at a distance, that excludes, that keeps clear boundaries between her children and his children. And she does it so often that it's clearly not just a slip of the tongue. It's a window into how she actually sees this family setup. She's the legal wife, playing at polygamy while using her words to separate herself from the very children that plural marriage is supposed to bring together. Picture a young woman spending years of her life trying to keep together a family that's actively tearing itself apart. That was Mykelti. While her siblings pulled away, while tensions got worse, while the cracks in the Brown family foundation got bigger and bigger, she stayed in the middle. She defended, she mediated, she vouched, she showed up. Mykelti was Robyn's biggest public defender among all of Kody's older children. She visited Robyn's house regularly when other siblings stopped coming around. She praised Robyn's parenting out loud, while others questioned it privately. She included Robyn in close family moments, like when her babies were born, giving Robyn access to being a grandmother that felt real and close. She built a bridge between the breaking sides of this family, and she kept it standing even when it cost her. Here's what people forget. Mykelti was only 12 or 13 when Robyn came into this family. That's a tough age. That's when you're desperate for acceptance, for someone to notice you, for someone to see you. Robyn saw that vulnerability and used it. She built a relationship with a child who wanted so badly to be a good daughter, a good sister, a good peacemaker, and Mykelti played that role beautifully for years. She was the one who could say good things about Robyn when the internet turned critical. She was the one who could sit in both camps during family fights without getting kicked out right away. She was proof that Robyn wasn't the villain everyone said she was. Look, one of the older kids likes her. One of them defends her. One of them has a relationship with her. Mykelti was the evidence that Robyn's story about wanting family unity was true. Except it wasn't true. It had conditions. Mykelti's value lasted exactly as long as she stayed useful to the story. The moment she started showing her own hurt, her own frustration, her own grief after Garrison's death, the protection disappeared. The relationship changed. The warmth went away. Mykelti even took Kody and Robyn's side sometimes when fights broke out with her siblings. She defended their decisions. She tried to explain their point of view. She put herself in the uncomfortable spot of standing between people she loved, trying desperately to translate pain in both directions and create understanding. That's exhausting work. That's the kind of emotional work that leaves you drained and wondering if anyone actually appreciates what you're giving up. And here's the cruelest part. Mykelti did all of this knowing what happened to siblings who spoke up. She watched Hunter get labeled a problem. She watched Gabe and Garrison get called disloyal. She saw the pattern. She knew that challenging Kody and Robyn meant risking being thrown out. So she stayed quiet about her own concerns. She swallowed her own doubts. She performed loyalty even when it hurt, because she believed that if she just kept being the bridge, kept showing up, kept defending, eventually the family would heal. Eventually, everyone would come together. Eventually, the effort would matter. She was wrong. The bridge builder just got thrown under the bus. Let's talk about what makes Robyn cry versus what gets her complete silence, because the contrast shows everything about what she actually cares about. Robyn cried on camera about selling Coyote Pass. She sobbed over empty land that sat there for 5 years. Land where they built nothing. No roads, no houses, no actual family gathering place, just dirt and sagebrush and broken promises. She cried about losing the symbol of their family unity, mourning a fantasy that never happened, while the real family around her fell apart. She called that empty property the symbol of their family. She said it over and over, like saying it enough times would make it true. Meanwhile, an actual family member, Mykelti, was packing up and leaving, moving away, because watching this family fall apart had become too much to handle. And Robyn had absolutely nothing to say about that. 0 comments about Mykelti leaving. 0 interview clips about her thoughts on the move. 0 words about losing the daughter who defended her for years. The producers didn't even show Robyn being asked about it, if they even bothered asking at all. Complete silence. Total absence. Like, Mykelti's departure didn't deserve even a moment of acknowledgement, let alone tears. Think about what that means. Robyn could cry about selling empty land, but not about losing an actual relationship with a daughter who stood by her through years of family chaos. She could cry about money walking away, but not about Mykelti walking out of their lives. The property mattered, the person didn't. Christine was the one who explained why Mykelti was leaving. She said Mykelti wanted to get away from the drama, that she was exhausted from trying so hard to get everybody back together again. Mykelti herself said her relationship with Robyn changed after Garrison's death. She noticed Robyn's reactions were all over the place, that her behavior wasn't how someone should act after a tragedy. Something that should have brought people closer instead pushed them further apart. And still, Robyn said nothing. No defense, no explanation, no attempt to clarify what happened or show regret about the changed relationship, just silence while another child slipped away. But watch her come alive when talking about that land sale. Watch her eyes fill with tears as she talks about needing to move on, about everyone else forcing her to let go of the dream. She's crying about real estate, while actual human relationships fall apart around her, and she doesn't seem to notice how wrong that is. Every woman who's ever managed a household budget while someone else made reckless money decisions understands this kind of misplaced priority. Every woman who's watched someone cry over material loss while ignoring emotional pain recognizes this pattern. It's caring about the performance instead of the reality. It's mourning the Instagram version of family while letting the actual family fall apart. Robyn wasn't crying about family unity. She was crying about losing her stage set. Mykelti wasn't a family member to her. She was an audience member who stopped clapping. Empty land apparently matters more than full hearts. Garrison's death changed everything. For Mykelti, it was a huge shift that rearranged how she saw her family, her father, and the woman who'd positioned herself as another mother figure. Because grief has a way of stripping away the fake stuff. It shows who shows up with real compassion and who's just performing sympathy like it's a scripted scene. Mykelti said her relationship with Robyn changed after Garrison died. Not because of some petty disagreement, not because of typical family tension, but because Robyn's reactions were all over the place. Her behavior wasn't how someone acts after a tragedy. Something about the way Robyn responded to a young man's death felt off to Mykelti. Wrong. Fake in ways that made the grief harder instead of easier. Here's what that probably means. When real tragedy hits, people either rise up to meet it with real humanity, or they show their limitations. Some people know how to sit with pain. They know how to hold space for grief without making it about themselves. They know how to show up consistently, quietly, with the kind of steady presence that helps families get through unthinkable loss. Others don't. Others make the tragedy about their own feelings, their own story, their own need for attention or control. They cry at the wrong times. They're silent when words are desperately needed. They center themselves when someone else should be centered, and the people around them feel it. They feel the disconnect between what grief should look like and what they're seeing. Mykelti felt that disconnect. She watched how Robyn responded to her brother's death, and something didn't sit right. Maybe it was Robyn's focus on how the tragedy affected her and Kody instead of on the children who'd lost a sibling. Maybe it was not reaching out to check on Mykelti herself. Maybe it was continuing to cry about selling land while barely acknowledging the huge loss the family had just experienced. Whatever it was, it changed Mykelti's entire view. Because losing a sibling forces you to rethink everything. Who actually matters? What actually deserves your energy? Which relationships are built on real love, and which ones are built on performance and obligation? Garrison's death gave Mykelti clarity about where she stood in Robyn's priorities, and the answer hurt. This is a woman who just lost her brother. A young man who'd been pushed out by their father, bullied and blamed, caught in the middle of adult problems that he didn't create. Mykelti was dealing with unimaginable grief while also watching the family dynamics that led to Garrison's isolation. That's a specific kind of pain that needs space and grace and understanding. Instead, she got judgment. She got silence when she needed support. She got reactions that were all over the place, that made her question whether someone she defended for years was being authentic. And when she started expressing that hurt and frustration, when she stopped performing the role of loyal peacemaker because grief stripped away her ability to pretend everything was fine, she got accused of being disloyal. Robyn couldn't find compassion for Mykelti's grief. She could only notice that Mykelti had stopped protecting her image, and that's unforgivable in Robyn's world. Kody made the pecking order crystal clear when he talked about his struggling relationships with his adult children. He said it was about trash talk and rumors that have challenged loyalties and trust on all sides. Not love, not connection, not healing after loss, loyalties. Like, family works on a medieval system where children owe allegiance to their lord instead of receiving unconditional love from their father. That word choice shows everything. In Kody's world, family isn't a bond, it's a pecking order. You're either loyal to the story he and Robyn build, or you're the enemy. You either protect their image and stay obedient, or you get thrown out. There's no middle ground. No room for honest conversations about hurt. No space for children to deal with their own feelings without being accused of betrayal. Mykelti confirmed this exact dynamic in a recent Patreon video. She said, "The only way to have a relationship with Kody is if you're obedient and submissive. If you don't kiss his butt and tell him what he wants to hear, there's nothing. You can't talk to him about anything real. He doesn't want to hear it. You have to kiss his ass and be obedient or you're cast out." Read that again. This is his daughter describing what it takes to keep a relationship with her own father. Total submission, complete agreement, absolute loyalty to his version of reality, no matter what your own experience or pain is. That's not love. That's control. That's narcissism dressed up as family values. And it explains exactly why Mykelti stayed silent for so long. She watched what happened to siblings who spoke up. Hunter became the problem child for not right away accepting Solomon's birth. Gabe and Garrison got labeled disloyal alcoholics for questioning COVID rules. The pattern was clear. Challenge Kody and Robyn, lose access to your father, express hurt, get accused of causing drama, have feelings that don't match their story, get thrown out. So Mykelti performed. She smiled. She defended. She swallowed her doubts and her concerns and her own pain because she believed that if she just stayed loyal enough, worked hard enough at being the bridge, eventually it would matter. Eventually her father would see her effort. Eventually the family would heal and she could stop performing. Garrison's death shattered that illusion. Suddenly, loyalty to a false story felt disgusting. Protecting their image while her brother was gone felt impossible. Pretending everything was fine when nothing was fine became unbearable. So she started expressing her real feelings, her hurt, her frustration, her grief. And that's when Kody accused her of trash talk and disloyalty. Because in their pecking order, having real feelings is betrayal. Speaking truth is gossip. Processing grief that makes them look bad is breaking trust. Mykelti's mistake wasn't being disloyal. Her mistake was thinking that years of loyalty had earned her the right to be human, to have feelings, to grieve openly without protecting their reputation. She learned what every one of Kody's thrown-out children learned. Love in the Brown family comes with a price tag, and that price is your voice. Watch Robyn's face when Kody brings up having space for Truly in a possible new house. She rolls her eyes. Actually rolls her eyes at the mention of creating space for Kody's youngest daughter with Christine. That single gesture shows more than 1,000 words ever could about how she actually feels about his other children visiting. But let's talk about the timing of this sudden concern for Truly. This conversation about needing space for her happened right before Christine filed paperwork to sue Kody for child support and custody. Right before the legal battle started, suddenly, after years of Truly not visiting, after years of her feeling unwelcome and left out, Kody's talking about how important it is to have a space for her, how convenient, how calculated, how absolutely transparent. Here's the reality that every single person watching this show understands. Truly doesn't stay away because there's no physical space. The house Kody shares with Robyn has plenty of room. She stayed away the few times she did visit before. Space was never the problem. The problem is how they made her feel when she was there. When Truly visited, Kody spent his time with Solomon and Ariella. He ignored her. He made it really clear through his actions that Robyn's children were the priority. And Truly was an afterthought. She didn't feel like part of their family. She felt like an outsider visiting a home where she didn't belong. That's not about how many bedrooms there are. That's about emotional exclusion. Robyn and Kody created distance through how they treated her, not through lack of bedrooms. They didn't include her in meaningful ways. They didn't treat her like she was really Kody's daughter, really part of their family unit. They made her feel tolerated instead of loved. And now they're pretending that a bigger house will somehow fix the emotional abandonment they've caused. It's the same delusion they have about all the estranged children. If we have the space, they will come. Like, closeness is the problem. Like, children are avoiding their father because of floor plans, instead of because of how he's treated them. Like, adding more bedrooms will somehow repair the damage done by years of conditional love and family pecking orders. The fake concern for Truly is especially cruel because it's timed specifically to look good during a custody battle. It's Kody positioning himself as the caring father who wants his daughter in his life when the evidence of years shows the opposite. It's creating a story for court documents while doing nothing to actually fix the relationship. And Robyn's eye roll? That's her mask slipping. That's the real reaction when she thinks cameras might not catch it. Annoyance that Kody's even bringing up space for your kids, when what she really wants is a bigger house for herself. More space for her things, her business, her comfort. His other children are obstacles to that goal, not family members she's eager to welcome. Truly deserves better than being used as a pawn in legal games. She deserves a father who actually shows up emotionally, not one who performs concern when lawsuits appear. Let's talk about what Robyn actually wants. Not what she says she wants in carefully planned sound bites. What her actions and words show when she drops the act. She wants bigger, more grand. She wants a house that matches the lifestyle she believes she deserves, and everything else is just window dressing to justify that desire. Watch how the conversation about a new house unfolds. Kody says they should look for the home that you want. Robyn immediately corrects him. That I want or we want. She needs the appearance of working together, even as she's clearly driving this decision. Then Kody tries to frame it with that old saying about keeping mama happy, and Robyn performs objection. Oh, daddy has to be happy too. But then the truth spills out. I want my space. I want my business. And then I want kids' space for grandkids and Truly. Notice the order. Her space comes first. Her business comes second. The grandchildren and Truly are afterthoughts, additions at the end of the list. The priority structure is crystal clear, even as she's trying to frame this as being about family. Meanwhile, she's wearing a $3,000 watch. Let that sink in. While claiming the family symbol of Coyote Pass matters so much, she cries over selling it. She's wearing a watch that costs more than many people's monthly mortgage payment. While Kody owes money to his other wives, while he's avoiding creditors, while the family finances are supposedly so tight they need to sell that empty land, Robyn's wearing luxury accessories that show exactly where the money actually goes. This is a woman who cried about empty land but lights up when talking about a bigger house, who mourns a fantasy while demanding material upgrades, who performs concern about space for estranged children while making it really clear that her comfort is the actual priority. Kody knows exactly what he's doing too. He knows the only way to keep Robyn happy is to give her bigger houses and expensive gifts. He's been doing it for years. It's how he keeps peace in the one marriage he's actually invested in keeping. Give Robyn what she wants materially and she'll stay. It's a transaction dressed up as romance. Every woman who's watched someone prioritize house size over relationships recognizes this pattern. Every woman who's seen resources flow to one person while others struggle recognizes this dynamic. It's not about creating space for family unity. It's about upgrading a lifestyle while pretending it's for everyone's benefit. The house hunt shows what the Coyote Pass tiers hid. Robyn doesn't want family unity. She wants a castle. She doesn't want the children to come home. She wants a showcase property that reflects the status she believes she's earned. The kids are just the excuse, the justification, the story that makes wanting more seem noble instead of selfish. And Kody will give her exactly what she wants, because keeping Robyn happy has always been his only real priority. This isn't just about Mykelti. This is a pattern that's been repeating itself for years with Kody's children, and Robyn has been the common thread weaving through every single exile. Hunter was first, then Gabe and Garrison, now Mykelti. Different children, different specific conflicts, but the exact same dynamic every single time. Hunter became a problem child in Robyn's story because he didn't right away embrace Solomon's birth. He struggled with accepting Robyn as a new wife. He had the nerve to tell her, "You're not my mom," which happened to be the complete truth. She wasn't his mom. But that honesty made him a target. Robyn spent years painting Hunter as difficult, as resistant, as someone who wouldn't accept her despite her best efforts. Then came Gabe and Garrison. During COVID, they questioned the rules. They wanted to see their father. They pushed back against rules that seemed designed more to control than to protect. And Robyn made sure Kody heard all about it. She positioned herself as the victim of their calls, their texts, their questions. She told Kody they were being disrespectful, that they weren't following guidelines, that they were basically alcoholics causing family problems. Watch the pattern. Every single time one of Kody's children challenges the story, resists control, or expresses feelings that don't match Robyn's version of reality, they become the problem. They get labeled, they get cast as disloyal, disrespectful, unwilling to make amends, and Robyn positions herself as the reasonable one, trying so hard to hold things together while these difficult children make everything impossible. She spent 4 or 5 seasons getting Kody worked up about his sons, making sure he heard about every slight, every challenge, every moment. They didn't treat her exactly how she thought they should. She called herself the Brown family scapegoat while actively blaming the children. She claimed she didn't make up the rules while making sure Kody enforced rules that kept his other children at a distance. Here's what responsible parents understand. When children act out, when they struggle with blended family dynamics, when they express anger or resistance, that's usually a symptom of something bigger. It's anxiety about their changing family structure. It's grief over losing the father they once knew. It's watching their dad obviously prefer someone else's children over them, and not having the vocabulary or emotional tools to process that pain in healthy ways. Adults are supposed to recognize that. Parents are supposed to see past the behavior to the hurt underneath. Step-parents especially are supposed to help build bridges, not burn them. But Robyn did the opposite. She took normal childhood struggles with blended family integration and turned them into evidence of character flaws. She held grudges against children for being children. And Kody, instead of being the parent, instead of protecting his relationships with his children, let Robyn turn him against his own kids. He chose her story over their reality. He picked her comfort over their need for a father every single time. Now it's Mykelti's turn to learn what her siblings already knew. Step out of line and you're next. So here we are, watching another one of Kody's children join the exile club. Mykelti spent years being the bridge, the defender, the loyal daughter who vouched for Robyn when nobody else would, and her reward was getting publicly accused of disloyalty and trash talk while Robyn sat in silence, offering not one word of defense for the daughter who defended her for so long. This episode made clear something that many viewers suspected but couldn't quite prove. Robyn never cared about these children as actual human beings worthy of love and grace. She cared about them as props in her story. Mykelti was useful when she praised Robyn's parenting and visited regularly and helped keep up the illusion of family unity. The moment Mykelti started expressing real hurt, real grief, real frustration after her brother's death, she stopped being useful. And props that stop performing get thrown away. Kody and Robyn chose their egos over human decency. They chose image protection over real relationship. They chose to publicly shame a grieving daughter on national television rather than offer her the compassion and space she needed to process unimaginable loss. That's not family. That's a cult of personality, where love is conditional on absolute obedience. The defense Robyn owes Mykelti will never come. There will be no apology, no acknowledgement of how they used her loyalty for years, then threw her away when she developed her own voice. No recognition that accusing a grieving sister of disloyalty while she processes her brother's death is unspeakably cruel. Robyn will continue crying about selling land while actual human relationships fall apart because property apparently matters more than people. For anyone watching this who recognizes these patterns in their own life, here's your red flag checklist. If someone demands loyalty over honesty, that's not love. If expressing hurt gets labeled as betrayal, that's manipulation. If you have to perform a specific role to receive affection, that's conditional love. If your value depends on protecting someone else's image rather than living your own truth, you're being used. Real family allows space for grief, for anger, for messy, complicated feelings. Real parents take responsibility for repair instead of blaming children for not being obedient enough. Real step-parents build bridges instead of creating pecking orders where some children matter and others don't. Real love doesn't disappear the moment you stop performing. Mykelti is learning what her siblings learned before her. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is walk away from people who treat your humanity as optional. Sometimes protecting your peace means accepting that certain people will never give you the love you deserve. Sometimes the family you need isn't the one you were born into. Robyn and Kody can keep their loyalty tests and their pecking order of conditional affection. Mykelti deserves better. They all do. So what do you think? Will more of Kody's children join the exodus as they realize love shouldn't require total submission? And which moment from this episode revealed the most about Robyn's true priorities? Drop your thoughts in the comments, make sure to tap like, hit subscribe, and keep those notifications on because the Brown family dynamics just keep unraveling. A fresh video is already queued up, and something tells me the next round of family revelations will be even messier than the last.